Okay, so we just finished replaying the 12th chapter of the Ziggurat of Ur saga. Um, this is it's kind of like it's a peculiar saga because like declaratively it deals with my origin story, but I almost I don't speak about myself at all. I mean, it's 21 videos and like at least I don't know 15 hours or 12 hours at least and total, but and I don't speak at all about myself, which is kind of funny. But first of all, I haven't finished this as a series. It's still kind of like in the middle. But also, as you understand, these series are kind of like interrelated. The robot series and the it's kind of it's a shared universe. Like it's a multiverse. It's a one like universe that shared with shared sagas and like because it's our universe and it's real story. So it should be shared universe. If it's all true, and it's all true. So in a moment we will continue with this series. I don't even remember what's going to be in the 13 or 14 chapter. I do remember that in one of the next chapters I speak about my family in a way that kind of like with a scoop. But and the later chapter in that later chapter I tell the story of the three sisters that I already replayed. Maybe you didn't hear. I don't know. Tell me if you didn't or did heard it because just replayed it like maybe 2 weeks ago, a week ago. So I don't know if you heard it, but it's very interesting. This is very interesting. And there's also like the Dandum, like like an epilogue that I recorded like maybe like 2 weeks ago. I don't think did you hear like with Absalom and David because it's I've replayed it just not long ago. And if everybody else, I will not replay it because it's like at least 3 hours or 4 hours, and maybe you don't. Maybe it's better like to dedicate like this precious time to other kind of like stories or to coughing sound or breathing sound. The usual sound or my own mixes like the Vulcan or Athena, whatever. Anyway, I should say that originally when I posted these videos maybe a couple of months ago. It was kind of like a question to the audience, and at the time it was mostly the Israeli audience, maybe the Americans as well. And I kind of place it like as I do not speak about it in the next couple of videos. Like I leave it like an open question. But I don't see the reason why not to repeat this gag, like the shtick right now because we already done that. We might as well spoil it, just right now, because you don't get the answer, like, in the next couple of videos. But you do get it, in other sagas. It's kind of like, because it's already, like, it's a shared universe, as they said. So, let's just give the answer right now. It's not a simple answer. I don't know exactly what they've seen. And maybe they don't even understand what they've seen. Of course, what's obvious is that they understood that this is not just a Paleolithic planet as they probably would have they probably thought before. Because since like antiquity, since at least in terms of pharaohs, people went there, and they had the impression this is like they're barbarians, like primitive people, even really, relative to the old kingdom of Egypt, they were tremendously less developed, like both from any perspective. And that was the source, like of the Israelis. In the 50 years, at least, before this the space saga, like the space exploration, the human space exploration. So most probably, they didn't expect like to see much, like it's interesting that to take videos, to take photos, but but they didn't expect to see, something, I wrote a photo, what's it called, like maps of like a new place, they're based on satellite imagery, which was already starting to be standard in the 60s, but now it's I mean, now everybody knows about it because Google Earth and stuff like that. But I mean, even before that, it was kind of standard. I mean, at least for military operations, things like that. But I mean, I don't know exactly what they thought that they've seen, and obviously, as I said in this video, this was, I mean, they were shocked and they conjured the new conspiracy very quickly and hastily, and it was not completely baked. Like, I mean, and that was one of the reasons why I could like thought about it, because I thought about it like just by reading the public history. So they were certainly shocked about what they've seen. But I don't, but they might, I mean, and maybe the image quality was very low, I don't know. And maybe even like high image quality wouldn't like give them enough information to understand what they see. But one thing is for certain is that what they thought they have seen is that this is not a paleolithic planet. It's something else. And they thought, okay, well, let's, I mean, it's out of the question. I mean, we don't want anyone to even think about going there, like in the near future. And we need to understand, during the 60s, there was so much enthusiasm. Like, people thought, yeah, I mean, by the end of the 70s, everybody will, go to the moon for like a vacation or to a holiday in Venus, or I don't know, like, I mean, Memorial Day, like in a hotel in Mars or things like that. And it was so many. They designed space cities in Disneyland and all this, crap. Like, I mean, they didn't know that. I mean, by 2023, I mean, there was. No, it's okay, but I mean, humans, I mean, it's okay. I mean, they kind of like, I mean, they verged, I mean, they kind of like dedicated their assets, I mean, to things like wars and, I mean, consumerism and, the one-dimensional person, the one-dimensional, again, like the one-dimensional person, like, I mean, the development of the one-dimensional man. So it's okay. I mean, fine. Like, I mean, I'm not against like wars. I mean, yeah, I do, but I mean, I understand it. It's you like it, fine. But I mean, and then consumerism and shit things, but I mean, that's not how they thought about like doing the 60s. So like, I mean, yeah, I mean, space. Now we're all going to space. So I mean, 10 atmospheres was just not was enough, because it's also maybe it's people who said, I mean, we are fine with 10 atmospheres. I mean, we are kind of like adventurous, but they thought that they don't want anyone to go there. So that's why they established the 90 atmosphere conspiracy, which means that this is hell. 10 atmospheres is not hell. I mean, it's not a place to live in, but maybe you can, if you're adventurous, you can explore the place. Again, people, I mean, even like, I would say that the record for humans are like 137 meters without equipment. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not so easy, but I mean, they wanted it to be like a banned place, and they succeeded. And this was, I mean, extremely successful conspiracy, because it was supported by both the Russians and the Americans together. So, and effectively everybody thinks that, the general public, that this is hell, even though it's not hell at all. It's actually, in the actual atmosphere, the pressure is lower than Earth actually, but not much. I don't know, maybe 0.8 atmosphere. I don't know exactly. Like, I don't have the numbers, like something like that. It's actually quite comfortable for humans, and it was known since like even for the pharaohs. I mean, they went there to chill, because I mean it's cold, but I mean in the Middle East it was also so hot. I mean, so a little bit of cold, like, I mean, chilling here wasn't. I mean, it was actually beneficial for the health of the people like in this vicinity. Yeah, of course, the long nights are cool, but I mean, they don't go there during the night. I mean, they go there during the night of Earth, because this is a moon gate, but I mean, they don't go there when it's night over there. So I mean, basically, they go only when it's only like day. So we're very happy. The night is difficult. I mean, not just because it's a night, but also because I mean, you don't see the stars that much. I mean, but they have light sources, but it's difficult, because there are also for animals that, I mean, that are when I was a child, like, in the early 90s, there was Castlevania 2, the NES game. So there's like a night and a day. So during the night, like, all the monsters are going like, I mean, there are monsters during the day as well, but during the night, like, more difficult, like, more, aggressive monsters. So it's like that. I mean, they kind of, like, I mean, The serious busters are out. Like, I mean, and this includes humans. I mean, Venusians. Like, I mean, um, anyway, so let's get back to the question. Like, I mean, of what actually they've seen. So they've seen. So they understand. Okay, this is not a paleolithic like place, and we cannot allow. I mean, this information to be. I mean, there was already a conspiracy about this place because they knew that, I mean, the Israelis are going there and they're getting, like, women. Like, I mean, they were married to Venusians, some of them. Like, I don't know with Kennedy or whatever, but I mean, this was already going on. Like, I mean, they were married to these people. So, but they didn't understand. I mean, they also did from for the same sort of ancient times. This is Paleolithic, and suddenly they've seen things that are artificial. They've seen artificial things. So I don't know what they thought that they've seen. I can tell you what they have seen, what they actually have seen, but not what they thought. What they thought is that this is artificial things, and this means that this is not Paleolithic. And I mean, it's out of the question that humans will go there and know about the place, even though there was already the stand, like, I mean, the position of the superpowers, everybody else. I mean, it was already an existing conspiracy, but I mean, it was much more like, there was much more emphasis that the humans should absolutely not go there. So they have seen artificial constructions. And I don't know how they like what they thought about it. Maybe again the image quality was not even enough like, to even start to understand what they see, and because the fact that, I mean, they sort of, the tea is like, I mean, something that they eat, because, I mean, it was already, I mean, an established like a thing, like, to eat the tea. It wasn't something new. But they didn't, I mean, for some reason, and up until now, I don't know why, they didn't study the tea. Or at least, I mean, they studied it, but I mean, the knowledge was like always like forgotten. And up to now, I don't understand why, because it's not that difficult. Like, I mean, look at me, I'm under arrest. Like, I mean, I have no money at all. I have like a simple microscope, and I mean, with all modesty, last year I've had like, I mean, less than a year, I've had tremendous, like, I mean, achievements in with my study, which is only based on my own semen and pee, and and almost like no money at all, and even no background in the biological science. Like, I mean, I had to learn everything. Like, I mean, and I've reached like, I think, very nice results. Of course, with the help of God. It's like, I mean, it should be said that, I mean, siyata dishmaya, but I mean, I've kind of, I mean, it's obvious to me that people didn't bother to do it because they just sort of something to eat, which is quite peculiar. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, if I'm wrong, I mean, it's not manifested like in the way that Israel treated this thing, because they treat it now, like in our time, just like it's food, like as they always have been treated in as, which is peculiar. Like, there is actually a question here, like why humans were so stupid, like, I mean, in the regards to the tea, that, I mean, just that they didn't like, or maybe they were closed-minded, like, I mean, they didn't like want to see what like in front of them, because what was in front of me, and it's documented is in channel, like, I mean, it's, you can, everything is like transparent. I mean, you can see that this is a civilization. What you call the tea and you eat it like barbarians, it's actually a civilization. I call it the Neros. This is a civilization. It's not my own civilization. I belong to another civilization which I call the cherubs, the Kruvim, of course, borrowing from the Bible, which is related to the Neros. But you are also related to the Neros. So I mean, it's reality is difficult. I mean, it's not like, the planet of the heads, like, in Star Trek, like, or planet that, I mean, people are like, half black, half white. I mean, reality of, like, I mean, of space, like, and the species of this universe is different. I mean, it's not something that, I mean, easy to digest, because, I mean, if it were, I mean, so, I mean, you could suspect that it's kind of like, fiction, of like a science fiction and author, but it's not. It's real. We're speaking about realities. This shared universe is our universe. So, yes, it's complicated, but it's not the same civilization. Like, I belong to one civilization, it's called the Kruvim, and there is another civilization which are the Neros, and there is another civilization that is Homo sapiens, and another civilization that are the Venusians, or what I call them Titans, and there is another civilization on Mars, and the Martians and the Venusians and the Terrans, like Earth, the people of Earth, they have like, I mean, a history together, like, I mean, in ancient past. So they are related. But they are not related to us. Like the cherubs, we are from another place. And we are more advanced than you by far. And the Neros are even more ancient than that. As I said, they probably were created before light was created, which means before Fiat Lux, before Vehiho, which means a long time ago. Yes, there was a huge time, like a huge period of time that there was no light. Yeah, I mean, yes. No light, no stars. Still, I mean, millions of billions, I don't know how long, but quite a bit of time. So what I've seen is the construction of the Neo civilization. Not of the Venusians, because the Venusians are indeed Paleolithic, but of the Neo civilization. What I call in a general sense, Bamot. In Hebrew sense. Again, borrowing from the Bible. I would say, I don't know how it's translated in King James or New. Maybe I should check it out. I don't have like I mean, of course, everything is online, but I mean, it's such a problem that all my books are not with me, and it's another kind of like torture, because I mean, I have no book here at all. I mean, of all of things that I had, but I mean, anyway, I would guess. I mean, the modern translation would be platforms. Like I mean, Bamot. I mean, platforms. They are most are they are on the ocean mostly, but the ocean is shallow. It's not like Earth's ocean. It's a shallow ocean, and so it's like I mean like oil rigs or gas rigs, you know, in the sea, but much larger than that. And one question that I don't know the answer is like, certainly the Venusians don't go there. I mean they can't go there, but do they know about it? And I don't know. It's an open question. Like, do they even know about the platforms? And I mean, there are Venusians on Earth. Maybe they have memories. Maybe they have a recollection of the scene. Maybe they can answer actually. Like, I mean, ask them. I don't know. But I mean, I have no idea if they know about the stuff, and if they do know about it, like what do they think about it? And they do. I'm certain they don't go there. Like I mean, but I mean, anyway, it's an open question. So they've seen these platforms. Now, these platforms are maintained. They are not ruins. They are maintained. They keep built. And one theory is that actually the gates, the solar gates, because there's a question, so why did they even build the solar gates? Like I mean, the portals. What was the reason for this thing? Because presumably, I mean, it's dangerous. Because I mean, you see, I mean, humans just go there and take slaves. I mean, it's very dangerous. And it's also dangerous because of course contamination. So there's a question like, why did they even open it in the first place? And one suggestion that I have is that in order to get stuff from Earth, like I mean materials from Earth, because they terraform the place. So all of this is kind of discussed in the fairy tale and in the epilogue videos to the fairy tale. And I don't know if you heard, like you listen to it, like I mean of David and Absalom and Lilith. So it's discussed there. I mean, it's not runes because it's impossible that it's runes. Runes are covered like very quickly. Like I mean, even the Mayan runes were completely covered. Like I mean, happened like 100 years after they stopped being used. And the Sphinx was several times. I mean, during its history, it was like covered completely, almost completely with sand, like up to the neck or even more. Very quickly. I mean. It was already in archaeological excavation during the ancient or the time of the Roman Empire, and they actually revealed it. I mean, and made it like a tourist destination 2,000 years ago. But after the empire was not like was weakened. I mean, so it's again covered with sand. I mean, up to the 19th century. So it's very quickly. I mean, things are. You cannot actually detect ruins because they are quickly covered unless they are maintained, and they are maintained. They still build it, and maybe they used raw material from Earth for this stuff and other stuff that they did over there. And they also have sculptures. And actually, some such sculptures, I actually have models of these sculptures, and I put like videos. If you see, you remember the snakes. I mean, actually, most of the sculptures are in my mother's apartment. I didn't bring it here because I have no place for that, and I mean. It's too heavy. I mean, it's like this is all my wall, like this little room, small room. So I mean, but I still have this some sculpture. I mean, it's like snakes, like I mean huge snakes, snake nests with eggs inside of it. So this is kind of like one of the models. I mean, such platforms you can see in Venus, like, but huge. I mean, like size of many stadiums. I mean, huge things. Like I mean, because they like to build sculptures of living things. Probably also humans, like colossi of humans. There is like one theory. I mean, that I mean, I have no way to evaluate, but I mean, perhaps. I mean, there is a question of like why the transgenders of Venus like to take my like the females in Venus that I mean they change to male form. Traditionally, they take this shape, like I mean this face and maybe also the body. I don't know if they have enough food for that, but I mean certainly the face. So there's a question why, and I've spoken about it in one of the previous videos of the robot saga. Like I mean, of false I mean theories and things that the Israelis thought about it because it was known in Israel since the beginning of the 20th century. It's not a new issue. So the huge question why. So when one maybe I mean I would probably say that I mean they've seen sculpture. I mean they just I mean they imitate they're Paleolithic. They don't have like you know they don't have like you know the Pornhub like I mean to you know to select like I mean like any kind of face that they want or whatever. You know I mean they don't have many artifacts like you know so most probably it's a sculpture, and maybe they don't have many sculpture, and we don't speak about all the Venusians, but only the Venusians that are close to the Israeli gates, like on the other side. So maybe it's like you know, the specific culture within Venus that I mean, that maybe I mean, my guess is that I mean, you know, someone built a sculpture, maybe I don't know, 500 years ago, I don't know when, I mean, in stone that it looks like this. Maybe it was probably some person, like I mean, from their culture, because they have culture, they are not animals. Paleolithic people are not animals. So my guess is that it's like something like that, and they just I mean watch these sculptures and they say, okay, that's I mean it's a way to imitate, like you know. And there aren't many males. That's the problem to begin with. There aren't many males. But maybe like an alternative theory, I mean similar but alternative, is that what they imitate is not a sculpture of their own culture, like I mean a stone sculpture of their own culture, but a colossus that is done by the Neros with this face. But if it's true, it means that the Neros built like some of their things near the shore, like so they can be able to see it. And this kind of like answers like the first question of like, do they even know about the platforms? I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, the first theory makes more sense. It's just I mean sculpture that is related to their own cultures. Like I mean, it was created maybe 700 years ago, and it's still like you know, it's still stone. It's still I mean intact. I mean stone sculpture that they themselves, like the Venusians, created. In the culture, I mean near the gates. I mean, if it's actually a colossus that was made by or maybe several colossi that was made by the Neros, it can be even a million years old because again they maintain it. It's not like I mean it's not ruins like in the way that it's like abandoned. Not I mean maybe it's like arguably it's newer now than ever because they keep maintaining it. Like maybe it's like in the best condition ever right now. I mean maybe I don't know maybe. If it's so, it's huge because they create huge things. Okay, so let's get back to the Ziggurat of Ur saga.